I have heard so many people say that there was one moment in their life that changed everything. So many successful people can pinpoint a day or a moment or a conversation that really, really changed things for them. And I can pinpoint that day for me, and that's what I want to talk to you about tonight. So my story began, in terms of the law of attraction, my story began on a really ordinary day, what seemed like any other day. It was a day that I'd got up to go to the hairdressers, and it was the same hairdressers that I'd visited many times before. The same hairdresser always did my hair, and I absolutely loved my experience in this salon because this guy is just awesome. His name's John. He's on Facebook, so if you're listening, John, you're amazing. He was at a Tony and Guy salon down the road from me, and he was just so much fun to be around, and I used to look forward to going and getting my hair done because his energy was just infectious. You know, one of those really positive, amazing people that you just want to kind of sit in their energy. He's just like that. So I was really looking forward to going to the hairdressers. Now, at the time, this was about 5 or 6 years ago, and I was in a business that was really, really up and down. My income was up and down. I worried about money all of the time. And we got onto the subject of business, life, just general chit chat as you do with your hairdresser. And he said to me, "How's business?" And I replied really flippantly, "Yeah, not too bad. It's good at the moment, but I don't know how long that'll last for. Probably not very long." And he stopped what he was doing, swiveled me round on this swivel chair, looked me right in the eye and went, "Shh." And I was like, "What?" And he went, "Don't ever say stuff like that ever again, because the universe is listening." And I was like, he's a crackpot. What's he talking about? The universe is listening. I thought he'd lost it. I didn't get it. I thought he was crazy. And he obviously got that from the way I was looking at him. And he said, "You don't know about the secret, do you?" And I said, "The secret, John, what do you mean?" And he went, "Right, I need you to go home tonight and I need you to get a book. And the book is called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne." Now, normally, when someone, before I found self-development, before I got into business, if someone told me to read a book, especially like that, I would have completely ignored them. But there was something about his passion and his energy when he was telling me to read this book that made me feel like I'd got to read it. So I kept trying to ask him questions. What's in this book? What's the secret? And he was like, "Just watch it. Just watch it. And next time you all watch it, like there's a video, or read it. And next time you come back into the salon, we'll talk about it." So then I'd got to read this book because he was going to ask me about it. So I got home. In fact, on the way home in the car, I was ordering this book on the internet, and I was telling James what had happened. He thought it was as crazy as I did. The book arrived a couple of days later and I read it, and I felt like a different person. That's The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say the law of attraction or the manifestation, start with that book. For me, that was the moment that changed everything, and I can see that now looking back, because I felt like I was part of this secret society. I felt like I was part of this new world that I'd never explored before, and it was exciting, and it got me thinking differently, and I found the law of attraction. I found the power in the universe of manifestation, and that's what I want to share with you today. Now, before I do that, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to be talking about some really woo-woo stuff tonight. I am. And I make no apologies for that. I make no apologies for it being weird. Now, I read a quote actually a few months ago that said, "I'd rather be weird and rich than normal and broke." And I couldn't agree more. So if you find some of this stuff weird, strange, fine. You know, I'm not going to try and convince you, but I would definitely say what I'm about to say to you tonight, research it heavily, have a look into it, delve in. So how does the law of attraction work? Well, in our universe, we are governed by universal laws. Now, we know that's true, don't we? Because the law of gravity, for example, what goes up must come down. We can't see gravity. We can't touch it, feel it, smell it, but we know that it exists. You wouldn't go out onto a balcony like this and jump off your balcony because you can't see gravity, would you? Because you know it exists and you know that you're going to fall on your face if you do. We know about that law. A law that not everybody knows about in the universe, and it's physics, is the law of attraction. So gravity tells us what comes up must come down. The law of attraction tells us that like attracts like. So the law of attraction is exactly the same as the law of gravity. It's just different in that what it teaches us and how it governs our universe. Now, I want to explain that a little bit more for those of you that are brand new to the law of attraction. So we are all energy. Every single one of us, what we're made up of is energy. So if you were to get a microscope and go right deep past the skin and all that stuff, you'd see that we're just particles, atoms if you like, that are vibrating. That's all we are. The table that I'm resting this phone on is made of exactly the same stuff. When you drill down and strip it back right to its rawness, it's exactly the same. The phone, the pen that's on this table, it's just energy. You are just energy. The chair that you're sat on right now is just vibrating energy at its core. So we're all made of the same stuff. Now, why is that relevant? Well, because we're vibrating particles under the law of attraction that says like attracts like, what we attract into our lives really depends on the frequency that we emit. It depends on the frequency that we're vibrating at. It depends what frequency we send out there to the universe. So if you kind of imagine a radio station, you've got to be on a certain frequency to get a certain signal. The universe is exactly the same. If you're on a frequency that is that of a sad person, you attract more sadness. If you're on a frequency of someone that is anxious, you attract more things, circumstances, people that make you feel anxious. If you feel broke, guess what happens? You end up attracting more bills, more things that make you broke. That's the way the universe works. It's physics. So the frequency that we're on, the signal that we emit, is determined by the way we feel. That's what kind of gives off this huge energy out there to the universe and determines what we get back. Now, I researched this intensely when I read The Secret, because the skeptical part of me couldn't quite believe that I was completely in control of my reality based on the way I felt and the things that I thought about. That felt like a difficult concept to grasp. And being a skeptical person by nature, I always make sure I do my research. So if you're sat there now thinking, this doesn't sound right, this seems a bit weird, this, research it. Use that skepticism to fuel your research, but don't ignore it. Don't turn your back on it. Watch videos on YouTube, Google it, read books, immerse yourself in it and learn. Because when you use the law of attraction, amazing things happen, and I'll get to that in a minute. So when I began to embrace the laws of the universe, the law of attraction, and I began to embrace the teachings of it, which I'm going to share with you in a minute, everything in my world started to change. And I wanted to give you some tips today as maybe a newbie or somebody that knows a little bit about the law of attraction but hasn't really mastered the art of manifestation. I wanted to give you some tips so that you can use the law of attraction to your advantage and get it working for you. So manifestation basically means, in simple terms, getting your thoughts and feelings in alignment on the same vibration as the things that you want to see show up in your life. So if you're on the same frequency vibration as the things that you want, then they are attracted to you. Now, this isn't a new age concept. This isn't something that's, 21st century millennial thinking. This is something that amazing people, when you trace it back years and years and years, have left clues to the fact that they implemented this as part of their success. Albert Einstein, for example, and I'm going to use a quote that Albert Einstein famously said. So he said, and I'm reading this because I don't want to get it wrong, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get it. This is not philosophy, this is physics. Now, some of the most iconic, successful people of our time right now are also talking about the law of attraction all of the time. But sometimes you might miss it because you don't know what you're looking for. So like Oprah Winfrey, for example, everybody loves a bit of Oprah, right? She said, if the vibrational frequency is in sync with what you want, you create a space that allows you to get it. Will Smith talks about the law of attraction all of the time. Jim Carrey talks about the law of attraction all of the time. Success leaves clues. Okay, so let me give you some tips on manifestation that are easy to follow and anyone can do it. Number 1, get super clear on what it is that you want. What is it exactly that you want to see show up in your life? Because if you don't have clarity on what you want, how do you expect the universe to know what to send to you? Now, the universe needs to know and have real clarity on exactly what it is that you're trying to achieve, exactly what it is that you want to show up, and maybe just focus on one thing to begin with. One car that you want to be driving, one house that you want to be living in, one amount of money that you want in your bank account, whatever it is that's important to you. Keep it simple. You know, if you've got loads of things that you really want and it's all really confusing in your head, then you'll be sending a confusing frequency, which means you'll probably get mixed results. So get really clear on what it is that you want. Now, everything that I have in my life right now, I have it because I've designed it that way. You know, the house that I live in is exactly as I saw it in my mind first. The car that I drive is exactly as I saw it in my mind first. The amount of money that I earn every month is exactly as I planned it to be. So you can create your life through the law of attraction and manifestation. Use visual aids as well. So when you've got clear on what it is that you want, get really visual with it. So I love to use vision boards or dream boards, goal boards. So when I've decided this is what I want next, I'll make time to cut pictures out of magazines, trawl through Google and find the exact images of what it is that I'm looking to achieve next. And then I stick it on a board and I put it somewhere that I can see it all of the time. So that might be, it might be on a wall in my office where I work every day. It might be next to my bed when I get up, so that I've got a constant visual reminder of what it is that I'm going after. What is it that I'm going to achieve next? So my brain is constantly engaged on the things that I'm going after. Number 2, visualization. Now this in itself can be absolutely transformational. If you can see it in your mind, you can achieve it for real. Fact. But you've got to be able to see it in your mind. You've got to be able to put yourself and almost create a movie in your mind of you living that life, achieving that sort of lifestyle, living in that house, going on those holidays, earning that sort of income. So what is it that you really want? When you've got really clear on that, then you then want to start practicing playing this movie in your mind of you having it. So when I decided that I wanted a white Range Rover Vogue, I was very specific. I knew exactly what car I wanted. I then made a point of going and test driving that car so I could feel the steering wheel, I could feel how it felt sat behind the wheel, and I could feel like it was mine. So then when I'm at home and I'm doing my visualization and I'm lying there, I can feel that steering wheel. You can trick your brain into thinking that it's already yours. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what you're imagining. It can't differentiate between the two. And I want to prove that to you right now. So do this with me. I want you to all close your eyes. Close your eyes and hold out your hand. And do this with me now. Prove to yourself that this works. So if you close your eyes, hold out your hand, and I want you to imagine that in your hand you're holding a really ripe, juicy peach. The plumpest, juiciest peach ever you're holding in your hand. And I want you to feel that peach in your hand. Now I want you to lift the peach towards your mouth and go to take a bite. Now notice what happens. Is your mouth watering? Are you salivating a little bit? That's because your brain doesn't know the difference and you're preparing to eat that peach. your brain can be very, very easily tricked into thinking that something's real when it's not, and that's why visualization is so powerful. Because if your brain can believe that something's already yours, you've already got something in your life, then it's attracted to you so much quicker. It speeds up the process of manifestation. This is why athletes will practice mentally just as much as they'll practice out there on the field. There was actually a study that was done a few years ago, and there was 3 groups, 3 test subjects. One of them, all athletes, one of them practiced out on the field. The second group didn't practice at all. And the third group only mentally rehearsed. So they mentally rehearsed being the best, winning, and going all out. When they actually went to perform, the group that visualized outperformed the other 2 groups collectively through rehearsing in their mind. So visualization is really powerful. Number 3, get excited. Get ridiculously excited about what you're about to achieve and receive. So when you feel feelings of excitement, it puts you on an abundant frequency, it raises your vibration. Now, every morning, me and James love to go over our goals and get really excited about them. I'll give thanks to the universe for what I'm about to receive before I've received it. And I'll fill myself up with feelings of ridiculous excitement for what I'm about to achieve. And then I'll say thank you. Because I know that if I'm feeling excited and my vibration's risen, then I'm going to attract things so much quicker. So number 3 is get excited about what you're about to receive. Number 4, start small. You know, when you very first start out manifesting and using the law of attraction, there's a part of your brain that probably doesn't believe it's true. So you can think, well, God, if I try and manifest 100 grand into my life, that's a lot. But the point is, the universe doesn't differentiate between what's a lot and what's a little bit. It doesn't matter, it's all energy. It doesn't matter whether it's 100 grand or £1. But to make it believable for you and to practice, start small and start with something ridiculous. So when I first read the book The Secret and started to implement some of this stuff, I said to James, I am going to attract something ridiculous. I'm going to attract something really out there, really obscure, something that when it arrives, I'll know that this stuff works. And he's like, well, what are you going to attract? So I thought about it for a little bit and I thought, okay, I'm going to attract a shooting star, because I'd never seen a shooting star before. They're very rare, especially when you live where we lived in like a city. There's a lot of pollution, light pollution. You very rarely see a star, let alone a shooting star, and I'd never seen one. So I said to James, right, I am going to attract the brightest shooting star and I'm going to see it clearly in the sky. That's what I'm going to attract. I'm going to really focus on manifesting that. So I put it out there, that's what I wanted to attract, and I visualised seeing this bright shooting star in a really dark sky, and I visualised it a few times. And within about a week, I think it was, James and I were driving back from the club we were working at the time. It was really late at night and we were just pulling onto our estate, going up a hill, and there, right in front of us, poof, this massive shooting star. And we both just kind of went, wow. He actually stopped the car and was like, I've got goosebumps. That's amazing. So manifest something ridiculous, something simple. It can be a pound that you're going to find on the floor. It can be a feather that looks a certain way, or, you know, be really specific though. If it's going to be a feather, is it going to be a black feather with white spots on it? What exactly are you going to attract into your life to prove that we are energy and we can attract anything that we want to? Start small, start ridiculous. Number 5, let go of the how. Don't get all tangled up in the how's this going to work? How am I going to receive that? That's not your job. Your job is to declare what you want, get specific, visualize it, believe it, get excited about it, and let go of the outcome. That's your job. It's also your job to watch for signs and take inspired action. So let's just get something straight. The universe does not just deliver things to your door without you doing anything to get it. Okay, it doesn't work like that. You can't lie in bed with your covers over your head going, I'll have a Lamborghini, I'll have a Lamborghini, I'll have a Lamborghini, and expect someone to just pull up on your drive with a Lamborghini and go, there you go. It just doesn't work that way. It'd be great if it did, but it doesn't. How it works is you get on the vibration of what you want, and then you follow the signs and look for the signs of how you can get it. And the universe will send you signs. This, I promise you. So put it out there, say what you want, look for the signs of how you can get it, and then take inspired action. That's your job. But it's not your job to try and figure out how it's all going to happen. You know, the amount of people that I've coached in business on a one-to-one basis that have said, right, this is what I want, and we've talked about the law of attraction and putting it out there and doing some of these processes. We're only scratching the surface today, and then they get all tangled up with, hold on, but this, but this, but this. Don't worry about but. Let it go. Trust that the universe has totally got your back. Trust, believe, and get excited, and then just look for signs to take inspired action. Number 6, rein in your thoughts. Thoughts become things. What makes you feel a certain way is what you think about. Fact. Your thoughts are directly linked to your feelings. It's your feelings that emit this frequency, this energy, this vibration out to the universe, but it's your thoughts that create those feelings. So you've got to rein in your thoughts. I'll give you an example. If I get you to say now, I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm so sad, I'm so sad, I'm so upset, I'm so hurt. If you say those things now to yourself over and over again, feel how you start to feel just from saying those words and thinking those thoughts. You automatically feel sad. You automatically feel a little bit crap. Whereas if I get you to now say over and over again, I'm so happy, I'm so happy, I'm so happy, I'm so happy, you can't help but feel the happiness build inside of yourself. So be really careful what you think about, be really careful what you say, because those things are powerful and they create those feelings. But what you don't want to do is get into a battle with yourself, because we are programmed, unfortunately, as human beings to think negative. We are. So when you do notice yourself think negative, or think from a place of lack of, or disbelief, a lack of faith, don't get yourself all tied up in it and start battling with yourself and beating yourself up for thinking that way. Just acknowledge it, and then make a conscious effort to change it into something positive that makes you feel good. The most important thing with the law of attraction is that you feel good. So let's say I'm talking complete and utter shit, and all you do from these things is just feel good. Would that be a bad thing? I'm not talking shit, by the way, but if I was, it's just all about feeling really, really good. So manifestation's like a muscle. It's a muscle that needs working and flexing to get stronger and stronger. Manifestation's an art, it takes time, and it takes practice to master it. It's like anything that we do. So right now, we are enrolling on our 21-day manifestation program, where I am going to hold your hand for 21 days in a private group environment and show you how to manifest £1,000 in 21 days, unexpected income, using the law of attraction. I'm going to be teaching you every tip and technique under the sun to make this happen, and it's going to be really, really fun. We're going to have a good laugh doing it. Now, right now, we're enrolling for that, and there are still a few early bird tickets left. So what's going to be involved in this program is you're going to be in a group with other manifestors. You're going to be in a group with other people that are on this journey with you, and you're going to be watching training videos, learning the techniques, filling in workbooks, doing exercises every single day to manifest £1,000 in 21 days. Now, you don't have to talk on videos like this. You don't have to do anything that's really out there, outside of your comfort zone, public, anything that's really scary. You just get to sit back in the group, take part in the videos, take part in the challenges, fill in your workbook, and manifest £1,000 using the laws of the universe. Now, this is a technique that once you've manifested that first £1,000, you can keep using these techniques over and over again to keep bringing in more money, a better partner, whatever it is that you're trying to attract into your life. Now, the early bird price is just £29, but when they are gone, they're gone, and I can't guarantee how long they're going to last. So at the top of this video, there's a link for you to click and get yourself on your way to manifesting £1,000. Speak to you soon, and I'll see you all in the group.